G'day and welcome to my kitchen. In this video I'm going to talk about food, diet. It's such an important part of our lives. It takes up so much of it, all the work cooking or making money so you can go buy it. It's a lot. I started my career life out in restaurants. First washing dishes, then cooking and chefing. And I loved it. I love cooking, and I got that love from my mum. My mum is a Midwestern American farm girl, and she loved cooking, and she'd cook all these big elaborate meals for us. I loved getting in the kitchen, the smells, and putting it all together. So when I got my first job cooking, and I left home at the same time, so I was 17 years old, moved to another country, worked in a restaurant, and I thought, hey, I haven't got my mum telling me what I have to eat anymore. I can eat whatever I want. So that's it. I just ate desserts. Oh, that bliss point of fat and sugar that just tastes so wonderful. So for the first week of my life away from home, I just ate desserts. Maybe a little bit of other foods here and there, but mainly desserts. And I was just loving life. And then I wasn't loving life. After a week and you're starting to feel, ooh, it's not good. Maybe I need something else. And then I started introducing vegetables. And I went, oh, that makes me feel good. Raw and cooked, lots of greens. Yeah, then I realized, I just can't live a diet of desserts. So I ruled that one out straight away. Later on, I was doing this road trip across America, and I did that Super Size Me movie, but a mini version of it. For 3 days, I drove from Chicago to Los Angeles, and I stopped at McDonald's for every meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, with a friend of mine. We had McDonald's. On the last day, she goes, I'm sick of it. We are not having McDonald's. Let's go somewhere different. So we went to Wendy's. After 3 days, I was really unwell. So I learned my Super Size Me in 3 days. I didn't take 30 days to do it and have irreparable damage to my body. So obviously food and diet are very important. If you're a breatharian and you don't do much, and if they really do exist, I don't know much about it, then you don't have to worry about this. But for the rest of us that eat, it is important. Now, science and tradition and everyone's telling us different ways to eat. And frankly, over the last few decades, I'm 55 now, I've heard a lot of things. Bacon's good for you, bacon's bad for you. Avocados were bad for you at one stage. Oh, the fat in avocado was terrible. Eggs. You could eat the egg whites, but not the yolk. The yolk was bad for you. Oh no, you can have the whole egg, but make sure the egg yolk is not cooked. It changes all the time. So what can we believe? Science? Well, that's always changing. When someone says the science is settled on this, well, you can't believe that, because the science is never settled. It keeps evolving. I think the best thing to believe is yourself. I know in a society that profits from our self-doubt, trusting yourself is a rebellious act, but do it. Pay attention to when you eat and what it does to you. If you eat too much of something, or if you eat too quickly, this is a habit I have. I still eat too much. And you can tell the process of when you eat too much and it's not good for you, because at the other end, when you go to the toilet, it's not healthy looking poo. So you always hear it. Do you hear some old guy that's 110 years old? Oh, I got to 110 because I masticated. Like that's the most important thing in their whole life. I'm sure there was lots of other things, but I think there's something in that. I've heard it more than once. So I think for health and longevity, masticate. So that's what I do. I eat, chew my food. I try to remember. So what sort of food do you eat? Well, you just got to find out. Eat. See what makes you feel good. What gives you energy throughout the day. And it's not just what food to eat. It's how you eat it. Don't eat food from the moment you wake up to the time you go to bed. I found this out. I used to do that. It's this thing of us humans and scarcity and stuff, and we got to just keep eating. No, what I found is I hold off eating as long as I can, as far as not until I'm hungry, but just as long as in the morning for my other things that I got to do. So I have breakfast as late as possible, and then I eat dinner as early as possible, and make sure that when I finally go to bed that I am hungry. I don't nibble after that last meal of the day at other foods. I go to bed hungry. You sleep better. It is so much better. Fasting, yeah, that's pretty cool. I do it every once in a while. Just take a whole day where I don't eat, and I do feel the difference. And there's all this research and stuff that says what it does for you. Who cares about it? Just do it and see what you feel like. Eat real food. Just eat real food. That is the most important thing. I eat it cooked, I eat it raw, and I eat cultured foods like sauerkraut. Sauerkraut is just fantastic. You know, they talk about we've got to look after our gut and all the microbes in it. So live food. I like meat. I believe we're an omnivore, so I eat a little bit of meat every day, usually just in one meal. My breakfasts are all about fresh fruit and a porridge or seeds and nuts and things like that. My lunches are paleo style, meat and vegetables, lots of vegetables. I have a big plate, not just a couple of greens and a big hunk of meat. It's a little bit of meat, lots of vegetables. And then dinner, it's just usually something light, often for the kids just to feed them up. I love making this white sweet potato gnocchi. They love it, and that really does it well for them. But I make sure that once they're finished eating, there's not a snacking until bedtime, as I do for myself, making sure I drink lots of water. But we talked about that in another video. So that's food, that's diet. Just eat real food. Keep away from as many chemicals as possible. And just buy the food that's in the green grocer section, or possibly frozen food. But when you get to packaged food, I just avoid it. It's easier that way. Because they put these chemicals in to preserve, anti-caking agents, colorings, all this stuff. We know it's not good for us. We know this. We don't need any science. You just have too much of any of that stuff, and boy, it's going to make you sick. But if you do eat packaged food, and every once in a while I might grab something for the kids, I'll grab a package off the shelf. You've got to know how to read the menu. Now, I got this. I never buy this, but I bought this for the example of this video. You don't read this section that's about the fat, salt, sugar content. That's irrelevant. What's important is the ingredients. Now, what is in this one? There's a bunch of stuff. There's lots of sulfites for every second apricots. They put sulfites to keep that orange color on them. Dried apricots should be dark. They put wheat starch, sugar, vitamin E. So they're adding something, some oils, soy, sugar, more of that glycerin. Why is even glycerin in it? Sulfites, invert sugar. I don't even know what that is. If I don't know what it is, I'm not eating it. And when it gets the numbers 223, all right, that's a preservative of some sort, sulfite. It doesn't matter. If it's got numbers in it, avoid it. Milk powder. Processed stuff. Sugar is not bad. Fat is not bad. But processed sugar is bad. And, processed fats are bad. I love eating. And I love cooking. And I just think, just eat real food. Lots of greens, lots of raw, cooked, and some cultured food. How easy is that? Till next time, keep the spirit.